Professor Yan, Professor Cheng, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's CTU Sharp Forum. I'm Jenny, MBA student.
And I'm Mike, MBA student. We are honored to be tonight's MC. On behalf of CTU MBA, we would like to extend a very warm welcome to every one of you tonight.
Tonight is the first CTU Sharp Forum this year. CTU Sharp Forum is a thought-provoking platform where influential experts are invited to spread inspirational experiences and stretch boundaries of novel concepts.
Recently, we have launched our Facebook page. You are all welcome to follow our page via the QR code display here, so you can understand our next inspirational forum.
Now, with much honor, we would like to call upon Professor Hao-Ming Yan, Dean of CTU MBA, for an opening remark. Professor Yan, please.
Actually, Kevin led me to look at the video this morning time. If you ask me what is KOL, of course, there was opinion poll, what is KOL. If you ask me what is KOL, I can tell you another definition. And last week, I went to Davos for economics forum. And you see in the major conference center, conference center, there's world leaders, they come over to talk about those big things and talk about, sort of the government perspective. At the same time, there are probably 5 or 6 hotels. They have sub-forums. And in those forums, the speakers, the organizers, or conveners, they are KOL as well. So they come to the Davos to forming those so-called interesting topics. I went to a few of them. They talk about AI. They talk about the blockchain. They talk about sort of electronic ledger. Probably those things which one can reflect. It's covered in this this first your forum, Sharp Forum, and I congratulate our student and bring this, such an important forum to our CTU campus. And honestly, when I look at this resume, I look at our speakers, and they are not by any means of the shy with those, opinion leaders in Davos. So let me stop in here, and congratulations again, and also thank our KOL leaders and participating with this CTU event. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yan.
So tonight we have the topic of unlock the power of KOL marketing. So facilitated by social media, marketing with key opinion leaders is becoming a popular means for brands to hit the target market. However, I believe most of the marketing professionals here, you do have experience of the frustrations in running KOL campaigns. What do you think, Jenny?
I do find recruiting fit-to-brand KOL is an intricate process. Besides, it is hard to measure whether performance is obfuscated by fake followers or engagements. How about you guys?
Okay, Jenny, I believe you are attending the right forum tonight. So we have 4 industry experts tonight to share with us some insider tips, also some evolving trends in aiming to alleviate the challenges in KOL marketing.
Our first speaker himself is already a prominent KOL with 17,000 followers on his personal Facebook page, and he is also an expert in social media marketing. For he had been the former chief marketing officer of Next Media, and now the founder and CEO of Toast Communications Limited, which provides marketing consultancy services focusing on content marketing.
So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Vincent Choi, Choi Yun Xin.
Good evening. Let me first start with a test to see how social media active you are, okay? Have you heard of this IG, Instagram star in the state? She's picked up by Time magazine as one of the 25 most influential person in internet of 2018. Anyone heard of her? She's a model. She's a singer with her song that you can find in Spotify. You can download that right now. She have 1.5 million followers in IG with high engagement rate. And anyone heard of her? Anyone know her? Lee McKellar. Just one? Lee McKellar. Anyone know her? Okay, 3 of them. And she is actually a robot. She's an Instagrammer developed by an AI company in LA. So basically, she's a virtual figure. But she constantly updates her posts in IG and have constant engagement with her fans. She got sponsored posts from fashion labels and cosmetic brands. So in her post, she actually get advertising. She actually get revenue from doing sponsor content. And this is what AI is actually influencing what we call the influencer marketing field. I will not tend to use the word KOL. In marketing, what we call it influencer marketing, making use of influencers as a tools to promote a brands. And initially, I think the concept of influencer marketing is to quantify word of mouth. Because when I studied in university back like 20 years ago, we study in marketing field and talking about word of mouth. And that time it's not that quantifiable. With influencer marketing, with social media, right now we can engage and so-called influencer to recommend a particular products. And in a certain sense, this is quantifying word of mouth. Right now, as the MC have introduced or have mentioned about, that the AI technology is trying to help or help to facilitate and the influencer marketing. So there is a lot of platform right now in the world, like this one, Influential is one of it. There's several platforms out there who try to tackle one of the key issues when we do influencer marketing in our field. One of the biggest problems is whether you can find the right KOL or right key influencers to promote your brands, especially when you are not finding some of the big names like Togit. We are not talking about big label like that. In marketing field, we try to find a lot of micro KOL with not as much, not as many followers as Lee McKellar. So in some of the campaign in US, one brand in one single campaign can use up to 1,000 micro KOL or micro influencers. So you can't handpick influencers with that quantity, okay? In Hong Kong, a lot of our clients use KOL with just a few, using a few KOL. So you can handpick it, right? But if you have to use it in the scale, then you have to use some of these platforms, which they use AI technology like image recognizing technology or NLP, natural language processing, which they use computer to scan the pictures that those influencers put in IG or Facebook, and also to analyze what they are writing in their posts in order to help brand match the right KOL to promote the brands. So this is a major AI technology which they try to help influencer marketing instead of having like Lee McKellar to replace real KOL. Okay, so in short, they are using technology to make influencer marketing more efficient. Okay, so they have engines that help to identify the KOL, engage with them, and the platform can, so for example, they have a simple functions to help the client, I mean the marketer, to approve what the KOL writes before they publish in the internet. So there is like approval process to facilitate the approval or authorization process, and they also measure the effectiveness of each post or each engagement. But the problem is, I mean, I leave the technology part to the other two speakers. I'm not that good in that field. But when KOL or influencer marketing become even more efficient, then it leads to one important question that I always think of. The KOL or influencer, when we write a post to promote a brand or do advertising, in fact, we are sacrificing some of the trust that our audience have towards us and convert that into revenue. We are changing the trust that we have from our audience into money. And for big names, okay, people will somewhat think, okay, you might do advertising or do recommendation with money behind. But for micro KOL, we believe that they genuinely recommend something. Okay? The whole beauty behind micro KOL is we believe the authenticity behind each recommendation. So if there is engine exists in the world that make the KOL or influencer marketing more efficient, will it lead to a consequence that no people will believe any recommendation anymore? Because you're not sure whether the closest friend behind you is recommending because of an AI engine who helped you to pick a particular recommendation instead of they genuinely recommending that. So I always think of these philosophical dilemma that when we have engine to help you pick influencer, will that efficiency make you don't trust any KOL anymore? Have you think of that? Because right now, the whole concept behind is based on trust. We trust that they're genuine. That's why when they recommend something, we buy something. Okay? No one have an answer. I think no one have an answer. But I have one viewpoint. My personal judgment of this is we can look at this quote from a neuroscientist who sort of give me an answer of my previous question. He said we are not thinking machine that feel, rather human beings are feeling machine that think. So when the system, the AI technology, make the KOL or influencing marketing more efficient, then you cannot tell whether each recommendation is real or not. Okay? So your rational mind tells you that the recommendation may be fake, but your subconscious mind may still convince you to buy it or to buy the recommendation from the KOL. Because of what? Just like this kind of advertising, which has happened for over 100 years, that celebrities will somewhat recommend or endorse some products that you will never think Wang Fei will use 本草堂, right? You will never think Eddie Pang Yuan will use Vivo X21, right? Your rational mind tells you that Wang Fei will never use like this Chinese brand, but your subconscious mind, when you read this advertising, you will still be affected by this image because most of the time when we have to make consumption choice, it is your subconscious mind that controls you instead of rational mind. So today, my major theme is if you are a real person, and can you fight against AI technology? Can you fight against how can you be more popular to become a good KOL? So I share some of my insight from some of the readings that I am recently, some of the books that I recently read. Have you heard of this story about California roll, 加州卷? Have you heard of that? In 1960, when sushi is first introduced to the US, the Americans did not like it. Okay, they find sushi is very weird, and they don't like raw fish with rice. They find it strange. And then there is a small sushi bar with Ishiro, that he find a solution. And he know that America do not know like that kind of new stuff. So he think rather we can use some ingredient that American think is more familiar, and then they put she put cucumber, crab meat, and avocado, and put it in this shape, and with seaweed 20 inside, so that it looks much more familiar to the U.S. and citizens. And these inventions helped Americans to understand and accept sushi more, and it started the whole sushi movement afterwards. So that what we call California roll effect is the whole concept behind it is like that. You combine something new with something familiar to make it strangely familiar. So for a person who wants to be a successful KOL, then we can learn from that. That we can learn from that to how to make your guys become more familiar to the public or more popular to the public by linking to something more familiar. This California roll story leads to one of the key effects which I find very important for KOL marketing. In psychology field, it's called mere exposure effect, meaning merely because you see something more often, you like it more. So when you find something more familiar, just like the California roll ingredient, that it creates the preferences toward that particular stuff. For KOL, it's also the same. So the more exposure, the number of exposure that you have in the internet will help you build the popularity. But the point is how to expose yourself, all right? There is a study in 2010 by a Harvard professor that they place the same advertisement in Economist and also Huffington Post, which is less respected at that time. And they ask people about the feeling, and they find that they discover that the more respected the publication, the more people would trust and recall the brand. So if you have to make use of mere exposure effect, the KOL have to find where they expose themselves. So they can expose themselves in Instagram, they can expose themselves in Facebook, but indeed they can actually expose themselves in major publication or traditional media. Right now, when we talk about KOL, we always think about social media, the new media. In fact, in order to be more successful, in order to be more popular, based on mere exposure effect, you have to increase your exposure opportunity. And instead of only focusing on social media, what I'm thinking is they have to find a way to expose themselves in traditional media as well. So right now, there are 24 hours news. All the major media, all the major traditional media is looking for content. They don't have enough content to fill those gaps. Because you have to look at if you look at your mobile phone, you always have to find instant news, 即時新聞, instant news. So all the publication, all the newspaper, magazine in the world is in lack of content. So the success of KOL is to find a way to make sure that no matter you not only have yourself appear in social media, you have to find a way to expose in traditional media as well. And you have to find the right media or the more respected media in order to increase your credibility. Another way to increase exposure is the actual physical engagement. In internet world, we also talk about engagement in online world, okay? The difference between a real KOL and an AI machine is the AI machine do not have the personal connections behind. Where a real KOL, in order to increase the popularity, one of the key things is to increase the personal connection. So this is one of the AKB48, one of the most popular entertainment team in Japan, that they have a handshaking meeting, handshaking, how to say, handshaking events with 10,000 people waiting to handshake with AKB48 celebrities. So this is not new. Japan do this all the time. You know the AV industry, where the men's all laugh. The AV industry, the AV celebrity, the AV industry is actually having some of the problem when people all watch AV online and they don't buy CD anymore. And later on, the AV industry organized a lot of that kind of hugging event or handshaking events in order to get extra revenue, because those who watch those pornography online for free, but they will pay in order to actually handshake with the AV celebrities. And I think this is one of the key points that real KOL have to take note. When they have to play around the mere exposure effect, they have to expose themselves not just about calculating numbers, about the organic reach or engagement rate. They have to make use of real encounter to increase the personal connection, and it makes human being wins over just AI or computers generating content. I end my sharing with an example. This is China KOL called Wang Xiu. She used to be an anchor, and she wrote some book about just like some self-help books among women. Okay, she apart from as an author, she also generate some of the videos to tell women how to be better women. So she encouraged people to do exercise and read more, and she has a lot of fans, and because everyone wants to be a better woman, and Wang Xiu just do a lot of video on that. And apart from just engage with her audience through that kind of online video platform, she organized a lot of meeting with her fans. Make sure that they all do exercise at the same time. And the thing I want to share is, apart from meeting them in an event, she also make use of WeChat as the major platform to enhance the personal connection with each of her fans. So you see, every night, started around 8 o'clock, she will online live on her doing exercise. So everyone can look at her doing exercise at the same time every night. And every one of her fans will also have to do exercise at the same time and share pictures, the sweating pictures, in the group to prove that they also do the exercise at the same time. And the clever thing about this is, in order to engage with her fans, in order to create the personal connection with her fans, that she opened a lot of groups. Each group will have around like 60 to 70 of her fans in each group. So Wang Xiu always appear in each group. Every group will think that Wang Xiu is talking to them. In fact, Wang Xiu is doing copy and paste to each group. Okay? And Wang Xiu is also busy, right? She can't just having conversation with the group members all the time. But Wang Xiu suddenly appear and speak for a few words. And then the fans within the group will interact with each other. So everyone within the group will feel connected, even though it's not Wang Xiu who's doing it all the time. So the conclusion that I want to make today is KOL, in order to be successful, is not just key opinion leaders. The future successful KOL should be key community builders, that each of them have to build community to increase the personal connections. The ability to build community is the abilities that go beyond what computer can AI or AI can provide. Because personal connection and community building is something that is so basic that human beings need. Okay? So this is my last slide. I end with a quote from Richard Edelman. So I think a lot of people will know Edelman, right? Edelman is one of the biggest PR company in the world. That the founder the president and CEO of Edelman have this quote: the mass population is relying less on newspaper and magazine, and instead choose self-affirming online communities. So I want you guys to pay attention to the word self-affirming. So when you want to be a successful KOL, you want to be a key community builder. When you build community, what you actually need to do is to make your audience think that you sort of affirm or to recognize them. Because a lot of people do not have that make much confidence, and they're just looking for someone who trusts them, or they're looking for some recognition in the internet. So the whole concept behind is such self-affirming. When they join an interest group, when they join a group in the internet, they are looking for someone who shares the same value or share the same thinking with them. So in order to be a key community builder, in fact, you just have to think that each one in the group is as important as the others, so that they have a feel of family and community in order to success. So I think this is something, community building, self-affirming, is what human being can win over AI. I'm not sure whether the other speaker will think the other way, but this is what I think. And I think the human being, ultimately, the psychological need of each human being is what actually differentiating a good KOL with the less successful one. Okay, so thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Choi, for your genuine sharing. I hope everyone have a chance tonight to grab a chance to have a handshaking or personal engagement with you afterwards. Hi, folks. Do you want more tips running KOL campaign, finding the right KOL, and more importantly, to present your boss about the results?
No worries. Our next speakers can share some practical tips, especially in the artificial intelligence field. Now, please, we would like to invite Mr. Ben Qin, Qin Pan Xinsan. Mr. Qin is the Managing Director of Greater China of Animai Group.
I know he also prepared some interesting showcases for illustration. Let's all welcome Mr. Qin.
So thank you for having me. My name is Ben Chen, and I'm also a KOL. It's okay, you can clap, it's okay. Okay, so last time I counted, I have exactly 31 followers. So, and also every single follower also happened to be all working for me. And so I guess the moral of the story is, just because you're a leader doesn't really mean that your opinion is key. So exactly, how do you make sure that your opinion is being respected, engaged, and the marketing campaigns can be done properly? So this is pretty much why we have spent so much time in using AI to solve some of these questions or issues. Okay, just a quick thing about why I'm here today. So I do work for a company. I created a company about 5 years ago, and it has been acquired about 4 months ago into this mother company called Animai. So it's a pretty fancy name, right? This is pretty much one of the reasons why I sell the company, because they do have a pretty cool name. And they also have a lot of offices, and a lot of people, and a lot of funding. But most of all, what really catch me is the use of AI. So the use of AI, as you've probably heard in many, many Chinese or US entities, are very, very wide. There's many, many ways of using AI. And in this specific case, we use AI to do advertising, we also use AI to do, casting here means KOL marketing. And we also use AI to do some talent hunting. These are HR solutions. What's really doing is it's creating a lot of algorithm or ways that can even do better than regular algorithms or rules in order to solve problem in matching a lot of things. For example, matching employer-employees, matching advertiser and publishers, and matching KOLs and brands. So overall, this is almost a company focusing in a lot of matching. So I'm just going to quickly do it like regular talks. What is the size of the market? I guess we don't really have to repeat this a lot. Some of the challenges, I think you will be more interested in this. How AI is exactly helping and how is it facing or rephrasing the future. So this is pretty much the bear case and the bull case, as in any kind of investment kind of stories, that KOL marketing is a pretty big industry. And the US alone last year, I think, has spent more than $1 billion. So this is going to be a lot bigger than just the US market. So this is pretty much like the pyramid, like most of the things. Things that are easy are probably done the quickest, any of the larger influencers. But like Vincent have mentioned, a lot of the focus that systems or platforms has been focusing has been on the bottom part, where we have the micro and the nano micro influencers, which is really where we should spend, or marketers should spend most of the effort and money. In order to do that, we have to rely on scalable machines, and that's why we're in this business. Some of the challenges, I guess, without saying, we have to start somewhere, right? We have to find the right influencers. That's easy to say. You can do this, a lot of these manually if you have a lot of time, but if you're in the States or if you're in, let's just say Indonesia, a really, really big country with a lot of KOLs, a lot of people, a lot of brands, how do you narrow this down? Where do you even start? So these, obviously time consuming, and to contact these are real people. Most of these are real people. And also, to measure the ROI of such, yeah, you can probably measure this from writing some kind of script, from some API that Facebook or Instagram, all these companies give you. But at the end of the day, are you just looking at some simple engagement numbers? Is there something more, something less synthetic that you want from these? More human, like that. And also, payments is also a big thing. I mean, this is something that I think many, many companies have really bogged down. It sounds like a very operational kind of thing, but if you're engaging, let's just say 100 campaigns, each campaign you have 500 micro-influencers, how exactly do you pay 50,000 micro-influencers a month? I mean, you got to have some kind of system to do this, because if you don't pay them, they're not going to help you the next time. And then monitoring, optimizing, creating better performance for next time. So how do you improve it over time? So these are all complicated issues. Okay, so this is pretty much how we look at this. Using systems, there's a lot of things we can solve. First is the relevancy. So relevancy is really about how your brand aligns with the influencers that you are likely to find or to hire in order to sort of become your online spokesperson. And then also to the resonance. This is, okay, some people are aligned, but not really engaging. Well, I'll provide some examples later on. For example, for a beauty product, you might not always have to find a beautiful person in order to do this. Maybe there's some better ways to do this. So just because they're relevant doesn't mean that they resonate. And in this case, reach. So just because they have a lot of fans, they might not be real. So exactly how many humans do you actually reach? So these are some of the things we try to tackle. If we do all these correctly, we get the influence. So this is a simple case. Oh, actually, this is a little bit old. We have since updated some of these numbers. The number is actually bigger than what we show here. In this case, I'm just pulling a very common case of showing every KOL have a lot of figures. The figures itself, they're always really big. Everyone looks big. And how do you even pick? Okay, there's some engagement numbers, but what is that engaging to? In this case, this is just the recent cases of some of the some of the posts that Toki have put out, what are some of the engagement. But these change a lot over time. And if you are selling, for example, a suitcase versus someone selling some kind of food, the engagement could be very, very different. So how is a single number useful? So what can we do this with? So in these cases, when we look at the systems or we look at the numbers, we have many, many different ways of looking at it. Of course, we start with the really simple stuff. What are the average age of the people that this Toki Xinzang he would likely attract? These are slightly older crowds because it's really hard to find average age of the audience that's much higher than that number because those people are probably not online in the first place or very little. And then also, this is a pretty good mix of even between male and female, and obviously a big base. So what products or services can we match him to? So using AI, we think very differently as a human thinks. In some of the cases, this is one example. This is one recent post about pigs. So this is about maybe food that is not properly processed or something that the food might not be all that safe. So there's not too much words over here and just one single picture. So exactly what can we do about this? So our system will obviously do image recognition, try to classify what exactly is in the picture. Is there any kind of positive or negative aspect of this? Where there could be, when, who, what, all that kind of stuff. And try to draw some correlation to the text, which go through the NLP. And we kind of pick up some of the keywords, maybe the word no or some other more either positive or negative kind of aspects. We look at these and we kind of understand that, okay, the pictures talk about pigs, and here you have spam, which is not exactly safe. So we kind of understand that this picture is probably talking about some unsafe food in some way, something related to that. There's probably other stuff in there, but the score might not be very high, meaning that the correlation among the text and the image might not be the highest. So we pick that probably food is not that safe. And then through our AI system, we would probably classify this as non-safe pork of some way. So if we're able to do this by, okay, if someone, for example, Trader Joe, a supermarket, or a convenience store in the States, want to sell some chicken, organic chicken, something very healthy, clean, and not very expensive, they want to appeal to the mass. So this would be probably a good speaker at the moment. If this person has a lot of readers, then maybe someone trying to sell this, it's a good match to this specific image and words at least this time. So this has a very little human sort of aspect to this, but the use of sort of technology and aspects might be able to provide our users on our system, Casting Asia, if they go on a system to look for, I want to sell food, and is actually chicken. And the person can actually type in our system of keywords that's going to be in the ad copy. And if you type in the keyword chicken, then our system will understand that this advertiser probably want to sell chicken, and will do the closest match to what's the most available at that time. And Togi's the name will probably show up on the list. And of course, the marketer will probably say, what the heck? Would Togi sell chicken for me? I mean, this is not exactly something that come to mind immediately, but this is what the technology could possibly do. And this is very timely, and this is somewhat unique. So we're trying this is just one of the examples that we do. We're going to show a little bit more of these moving forward. Okay, so this is a quick GIF about how our system works. Mainly, we do a lot of crawling, just like everybody else. We use API. We just hustle our way into a lot of systems so we can get a lot of data. And then we create a system so advertiser agencies or brands can use these to fine-tune or to find what categories they're looking for, what kind of KOL, age, gender, all that kind of stuff, even what kind of budget and how many total reach they want, so we can do all these calculations. And in this case, so we have approximately this many KOLs in our system. across Asia. So it's not just a Hong Kong thing. In this one, you can see there's a lot of countries. Our headquarters in Singapore. Most of the people is actually in Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam. So we're pretty much focused on the Southeast Asia world and also in the Northern Asia at this point. We're expanding. And this is sort of how the system works. So if you think, okay, exactly how to use these. So the system will pick the KOLs, and the users will be able to input these into the system and to engage them and to send them proposals, and they'll be able to send back, and then we'll be able to go through these kind of process in order to engage, actually find, engage, work with these influencers, eventually pay for them. So this is pretty much a one-stop shop kind of thing. This is how the system works. And this is another example of a product that I will never use. So this dyes your hair. Thanks for picking this one. and this is, the target audience is for people that's older. Okay, I fit that one, but I'm not female-oriented. This is for ladies with hair getting a little bit gray, try to make them in a different color. So of course, we can find KOLs that probably fit this age range, but like I said earlier, not a lot of older people are very active on IG, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube, and stuff. So how do we engage with the older user if they're not even online? So this is a problem. Okay, so we start picking KOLs. KOLs, which themselves audience might not be that young. So if your average audience is 32-year-old, you're probably not too young yourself. You probably write something or do something that appeal to the more mature mass to begin with. And also, this is a Taiwan KOL, and this person appealed to a lot of ladies. So that is good, because we're looking to target ladies. And best of all, this KOL also has been flagged in our system as someone that really cares about family, especially older members of the family. So we went ahead and start picking people or KOLs that have parents or mothers that would be likely be interested in this hair dye solution. So this is exactly what happened. So she did some testing herself, obviously, but she appealed to a 32-year-old, which is unlikely to have gray hair. So, but a mother, look at this. This is what she looked like. This is her face. And this is a mother. I think that's her mother, right? I think so. Yeah, look pretty. Yeah. And so, or maybe just an older version of her. But this, she is doing this, and so, I mean, this is pretty convincing, right? I mean, this is kind of like a family kind of thing. Your mother is using it, and you are kind of pitching this. I mean, you're not going to lie to your mother about this. You're not going to ruin your mother's hair. So people trust her, and people trust this kind of family kind of thing. And so this product actually sells pretty well using these. So if it's not because of our system flagging someone with heavy family trait, then I guess it's tough for us to think about this idea or even define KOLs have mothers that have hair that's not black. Okay, and this is sort of the results. There are a lot of chatter from people from this actual case. So this is actually we do show these, and these are, I mean, these are pretty much our secondary wave. This gives us the idea whether our AI is actually doing right or doing the wrong thing. If a lot of people start talking about this as completely irrelevant or things like that, so we take these into consideration and also help to define new learning for our machines moving forward to help the campaigns to be better next time. Okay, it's not really showing, but there's supposed to be a kind of zigzag line and it kind of boosts up. So this is sort of the result doing this manually. So this is how we kind of detect it. With the improvements manually, we do see increase in engagement over time. And we also see different type of engagement increase over time. But a lot of these data are put back into the machine so that the machine will pick up a lot of slacks that humans just plain don't have time to take care of. So this is sort of our way of finding a way to improve without human intervention. And of course, I think people talk so much about this, I don't really mention too much. We use AI to do a lot of prediction, and if the campaign results severely deviate from the performance of what our machines expect, we will flag them and we will expect there's some kind of fakeness in it. And we will also put it back into the system, maybe to report to our staff. We do have community staff to judge these, whether it's human issue or machine issue. And we'll also have different kind of ways to make sure that we change some of the initial logics when we acquire influencers so that we can make this a safer place for everyone. And these are some of the future things that we're building. I don't mind showing these. I think a lot of people are building these things. Some of these things are hashtag recommendation systems. So if you use I mean, most people nowadays, I guess if you don't post too much, you really want hashtag to help you to increase your exposure or virality, etc. So if you use the right set of hashtags, you can actually improve your long-term views or engagement, etc. So this is a way for us to check whether these hashtags, and after doing image recognition, is there a really good matching? Which hashtags would you use the next time? So we can actually recommend which hashtags to use in order to get the best performance. It's just pick some words. I mean, why not pick the correct words, right? If system can help to pick these, maybe we can trust the system for a couple of times and see if these numbers really go up. So this is basically some kind of internal testing we're doing, changing some of the hashtags. In 4 days later, we have a lot more views than using the original set. Of course, we will improve these over time, and these are unlikely due to luck because we have a lot of these sample size. And then we also have KOL recommendation engine. We find the resemblance between KOLs and also the brands. And we use these images to help to refine these to make sure that in the future, if one type of KOL worked really well, can we recommend other ones proactively? Because our system right now is still kind of manual at the beginning. You still have to put in the type of influencers by category. What if at the beginning you put in the wrong type of influencer in the first place? Like you didn't think of someone's mother can help you to sell hair dye. Then our system will actually recommend what's best for some of the campaigns. And we need to do these in more countries, to do more cases in order to have more data. And so this is something we're investing heavily in. Okay, and we're also building a sort of evaluation system to measure the actual capability of the influencers. I understand this is kind of subjective. Who are we, who am I to evaluate each KOL given that I don't know them personally? So this is just another way of system-generated scores. This is pretty much pushing everything in the back end, and we want to make some of these appear on the front end, so when everyone go in there and try to sort of say, okay, if I pay so much for this influencer and I pay 10 times as much for a bigger one, but it's only twice as big, but it's 10 times more expensive, is it really worth my money? And it really depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for sales? Are you looking for engagement, recommendations, likes, or just reach? There's many, many things to look at. So one single score is not going to really tell everything. So this is something that's in the works. I don't know exactly the criteria, but the engineers and the product managers are thinking about this to make it easier for everyone to understand sort of the valuation of such. You have valuation of stocks, and Teddy's going to talk about a lot of these KOLs being sort of valuated in the blockchain world, and we're going similar, but not exactly doing the kind of all the trading kind of stuff, but we're just kind of give them a valuation for reference. So this is the last slide. So overall, I mean, the future is AI, or AI is changing so many different industries. KOL is just one of them. And we're also using AI to change a lot of things. But some of the future things, I mean, obviously, I come from the programmatic advertising side. The first thing that always comes to mind is ROI, because by the definition of targeting, you need ROI, otherwise you wouldn't be targeting in the first place. And in the KOL space, then engagement rate and even conversions, we're actually going into that space as well. We are doing something in China trying to link up e-commerce with KOL. This is something that in Southeast Asia and the States is already developing big time. We're linking a lot of the systems together in order to scale these kind of things in China, because China is really a scalable kind of country. And we're also doing more and more to prevent these kind of fake stuff moving forward. Understand that the better we are, also the better the fake ones are. So there's always a catch-up to do, so we can never really lag down on that. And that is something that it's just very difficult, very harsh for human to make these decisions, but it's just easier to depend on AI. Even though it might not be always correct, but at least it's worth a try. So we can all focus on thinking new ideas and things like that. So this is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Qin, for your sharing. So first of all, we would like to give a little reminder to the participant tonight. When you came in this hall tonight, you got a leaflet, and there are 2 QR codes. On the left-hand side, please put out your cell phone, scan it, and you will go to the Q&A form. Ask any of our speakers or moderators your question you want, and we will pick randomly the questions, and they will be shown in the Q&A section later on. So now we talk about technology. Blockchain is another terminology we heard recently. Have you ever thought of integrating the blockchain technology into your next influencer marketing program? Our coming speaker does. Mr. Teddy Dong, Dong Seng Xin-san, the operation director of Greater China of Fans Time. He's now managing the strategic planning of the operations of blockchain application in KOL marketing, while Asia Pacific region is Mr. Dong's major battlefield.
Tonight, Mr. Dong will be presenting in Mandarin, but no worries. Event highlights and video with English subtitles will be uploaded on our Facebook later. May we now invite Mr. Dong?
各位成大的精英和来自各位社会各界的精英们，大家晚上好。我讲中文大家听得懂吧？因为我英语不好，我今天只睡了2个多小时，早上5点多钟从武汉赶过来。然后呢，我们是专门做粉丝运营的。我们认为，只要你有粉丝，你就是 KOL。我们经历过最开始的关键词搜索的那个营销，然后经历过从10年往后走的微博营销，包括后面的微信营销、直播营销，到现在的短视频营销。问一下你们了，你们玩不玩抖音呐？啊，玩抖音啊？是这样的啊，流量在哪里，我们就在哪里，因为我们专门做粉丝运营的。另外，我来的时候呢，刚刚有一个那个成大的那个教授问我，他说你能不能在20分钟之内把那个区块链给大家讲明白？坦白讲，20分钟之内我很难给大家讲明白。但是如果你们不清楚的话，我可以先讲这个区块链，因为他说他听了很多次都没听明白，你们是愿意先听这个区块链，还是先听那个粉丝运营呢？区块链啊，我简单跟大家讲几下吧，好吧？看我能不能跟大家简单讲明白。那么这么来讲，整个区块链的发展史呢，我讲快点啊，因为只有20分钟的时间。实际上我今天内容非常多啊，我就把速度提快点，好不好 ？OK， 啊，这样的讲20分钟啊。整个区块链的话，发展史就是比特币的发展史，很简单啊。是的，因为呢，最开始的时候，简单跟他讲，我给你转个账啊，我的是国内的，比如说农行啊，我转到你的汇丰银行，对吧？要知道啊，整个区块链里面，它有传统互联网它的数据啊，它是中心化的。你们都是听说过区块链，是去中心化，对吧？都听说过去中心化呀，分布式账本，但是具体干什么不知道。实际上，区块链就是101010啊，它是数据，都是数据，但是它分成一个块一个块的。那比特币最开始出来，它就是每10分钟生成一个区块，什么意思呢？这10分钟的所有的交易的数据，啊，全部生成一个区块。什么交易数据呢？最开始只有转账。就相当于我们打游戏一样的，何谓转账呢？何谓是分布式记账呢？今天的话，我的农行转给你的汇丰银行，我的农行先要到我们的央行，告诉大家啊，因为我所有的信用记录、所有的转账记录先到央行，央行再转到你的汇丰银行，汇丰银行再到你的话，这个结算很慢的。所以在区块链1.0时代，它主要解决的是一个支付即结算，立即支付、立即结算，10分钟内的完成，就是10分钟内把所有的交易的数据打成一个包。 打成一个包怎么样呢？所有参与的人，只要是你们听说过挖矿对不对？不知道挖矿是干嘛？因为早期的挖矿实际上就是拿一个矿机，拿一个那个电脑啊，记载着所有的数据，这十分钟内所有的数据。那么每10分钟生成一个数据，每10分钟生成一个数据，它就是什么呢？就是区块，生成一个区块。所以说我们说每生成一个区块的高度，区块链有哪些好处呢？它就可以追溯，不可篡改。因为这10分钟生成的所有的数据打成了一个包，所有人都参与记账，这就是分布式记账。那么所有人都有这个记账的记录，它即时支付结算，它有哪些好处呢？我现在把我的钱原来通过我的央行再转到你的汇丰银行，可能第2天才到账了，对吧？但是现在我10分钟生成一个区块，我把我的1个比特币或者0.5个比特币转给你了，你10分钟内就已经收到，可以在区块链浏览器上面查到，它即时可以查到的。所以它10分钟生成一个区块，10分钟将一个数据就打成一个包。那么是最早的，这是1.0时代，就是解决一个即时支付结算的一个问题，马上可以结算。而且它的收费是按什么收费呢？按字节收费。它每一个区块生成是2兆大小，2兆大小。然后的话，比特币它由来怎么来的呢？它每生成一个区块的话，最开始讲50个比特币，那么所有人来参与这个记账的人分这50个，每10分钟生成一个区块，对不对？然后后来到现在每21万块高度的时候就减半啊，后来就变成每10分钟生成一个区块者减25个，再每10分钟生成一个区块，现在已经到了12.5个了。那是最开始的啊，这个比特币，它的转账的费用，请问是不是有转账的费用，对不对？转账的费用怎么来说？按字节收费，也就是说，它有一个好处就是，哎，我现在给你转账，我给你转1个比特币和转1万个比特币都是一样的费用，按字节收费，可能说是5块钱。今天我给你转了5块钱，也是这么多费用，但是我给你转了50个亿，也是这么多费用。所以说相当于传统这种转账的话，如果说我转1个亿到你汇丰银行，也许你第2天才能收到，而且手续费非常的高。大家可能没有意识到这个价值。今天的比特币的市场已经，大家都在一个去中心化，但是还有一个共识机制啊，也就是说，它每天的交易额，少说话至少有几百个亿到几千亿，它没有一个员工啊，比特币没有一个员工，它也没有一个办公场地，没有一个场所，它现在的话支撑的是每天几千亿的、几百亿的交易额。大家认为它有没有价值？很多人说没有价值，大家不要把它想象成币，想象成钱，它实际上就是一个收藏品。它作为这个数字货币的这个开山鼻祖，它已经有收藏价值了。简单跟他讲这个啊，这是在1.0时代，它主要解决了即时支付。我现在转给你，你就收到了，你就可以了，成本很低，都是一样的，无论转多少都是一样的。然后它是公开公平的，可以看得到，所以理解这个就可以了。啊，所有人都可以参与记账，所有人对于所有人挖矿都是公平的，它是用的 POW 这种算法，对吧？好，到了2.0的时代的时候，它就是解决了一个什么问题呢？解决了一个我们叫智能合约。那么就是像我们国内用淘宝很简单，我打钱给你，我怕你不发货给我，